this morning we want to continue what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks, and this is my first time here, so I don't know how many of you have been regular or how often you've been here. But the topic we've been covering is the divine romance, and this refers to the divine romance between God and man. And so the way we're looking at the Bible is maybe it sounds secular. The word romance is actually not used in the Bible. But the way that the Bible portrays our relationship with God and God's relationship with us, there are different ways it's portrayed. Yes, there is the side of creator. God is the creator and we're the creature. There is the side, after we know the Lord, that God is our Father and we're His sons. But there's also another side, maybe one of the deepest sides in the Bible, which shows us that not only is God our Father, not only is He our Creator, not only is He someone that we should worship and that we should serve, but the Bible presents God as our husband and us as His wife. And that is the most loving and intimate relationship that exists, that's known to human beings. It's this relationship of love, and especially romantic love. So this is what we've been covering. The first week we talked about how we could see, and this is very much related to us, but how we could see this love story with Adam and Eve. Adam being a picture of Christ, Eve being a picture of us, the church. And then the following week we talked about Isaac and Rebekah, the story of Isaac and Rebekah from Genesis. And again, there's a lot of little details there that show us how we, as today's Rebekah, can meet and be attracted to and fall in love with Christ, who is today's Isaac. And last week, Alexi was here. I wasn't here, but I've just been watching this on Facebook. So last week, Alexi talked about how the children of Israel in the Old Testament are also they have this love relationship with God, even in the Old Testament. And it was quite striking talked about the Ten Commandments, and how, if you look at it from the angle of the romance, you can see how that was kind of like an engagement covenant between God and His people. So if you weren't here last week, make sure you watch that on Facebook. This week we come to another story from the Old Testament, and it's another romance. And this story is the story between Ruth and Boaz. And Ruth, if you've ever read the book of Ruth in the Old Testament, it's right after Judges, and it's only 4 chapters, so it's a very short story, but very, very significant. All right, the title, you can see the title here of this message or ministry meeting is A Moabitess and a Man of Great Wealth. All right, these two things, a Moabitess and a man of great wealth. So let me read you the first verse here on the sheet, which is Ruth 1:4. All right? And they took, actually before that, we'll just try and tell the story really briefly, okay? In the book of Ruth, there is a couple, I'm just going to write the first letters of their names. Okay, this guy named Elimelech and his wife, Naomi. All right, Elimelech and Naomi. They have 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing their names correctly or not. But, excuse me. All right, I don't think it says who was married to who, but one of them was married to Ruth, and the other was married to someone named Orpah. All right, now Orpah and Ruth were not the Elimelech, Naomi, and their 2 sons. They were Israelites. They were the people of God in the Old Testament. But Ruth and Orpah were Moabites. They were from a region southeast of Israel called Moab. Okay, now this is very important because in the Bible, Moab is not good. All right, for 3 reasons. All right, if you look at Genesis 19, you can see that the origin of Moab, the people of Moab, is incest. All right, incest, not good. Second, in Deuteronomy 23, Moab was rejected and condemned by God. Okay, so incest, Moabites were rejected and condemned by God. And thirdly, Moab was a country of idolatry. All right, that's pretty bad. I mean, so incest, rejected and condemned by God, and idolatry. All right, so this is where Ruth comes from. And so I guess you could apply this. You could apply it to us in this way. Ruth represents all of us. We're all sinners. We come from a black background. There's none of us who doesn't have an element of these kinds of things. We actually, even when we were born, we were already, in a sense, we were rejected and condemned by God because we're sinners. And so the story of Ruth is the story of us. We all began in the same way. But the good news is that when we touch the divine romance between God and man, this romance transcends our background. Whatever our background is, whatever culture, wherever we're coming from, it doesn't matter. If Ruth can make it and get married to Boaz, as we'll see, then we can make it. There's hope. So the basis for our being in this romance is not a virtuous, perfect background, but it doesn't matter. Whatever our background is, we can still be involved in this and enjoy this romance, okay? The second point I want to make is in the second portion of the word in Ruth 2, 1 through 3. All right. I'm going to read it to you, but as I read it to you, there's two points that I want to make, okay? So listen, okay, here I'm going to read it to you. Now Naomi had a relative of her husband's, a man of great wealth. So if you're wondering where the title comes from, that's where it comes from. A man of great wealth from Elimelech's family. Okay, so you have Elimelech and his family. There's this guy named Boaz. And Boaz is a man of great wealth. His name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, "Let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain after him, in whose sight I find favor." Okay, I failed to mention something. When this family was there in the land of Moab, all three of the guys died. Elimelech, Mahlon, and Chilion. Okay, that was unfortunate. That was tragic, but that left Naomi with Orpah and Ruth. Eventually, Orpah, she returned. She just stayed in the land of Moab, but Ruth returned with Naomi to the land of Israel. All right, so you have Naomi and Ruth. That's Ruth and her mother-in-law. And of course, Naomi was married to Elimelech, and Elimelech was a relative of Boaz. So there's a lot of in-law relationships here. But the first thing that I want to mention is this phrase, a man of great wealth. All right, Boaz was a man of great wealth. And let's read together Ephesians 3:8, which is near the bottom of our sheet. All right, let's just read it out loud together and consider how this verse relates to Ruth chapter 2. Okay, there you go. To me, less than the least of all saints,